My name is Gracie Baker, and I'm from Waldo County.
My name's Ashley Goodwin, and I'm from Penobscot County.
My name's Dylan Pong. I'm from Ellsworth, Maine.
My name is Joey Gregson, and I'm from Aroostook County.
Some of the exposure that I've had to the criminal justice field through this program is a lot of networking with local departments and local law agencies like the District Attorney's Office.
I am currently working as a corrections officer at PCJ. I have done an internship at the District Attorney's Office.
I know countless troopers. I know countless deputies that come in for our report writing and testifying class, or our criminal investigations class, or criminal law class.
One thing that I found memorable about the program is that we treat each other as family, so when we go to events, we tend to do things together and we work very well as a team.
A lot of conversations I have with a lot of my instructors, they're experts in their field, whether it's clinical psychology, my instructors that work in law, my instructors who are police officers. A lot of the things they've told me has stuck in my memory, and it's helped me learn and grow as a college student, so that way I can translate into being a successful police officer.
We all strive for excellence here. That's why we're the best criminal justice program in the state.
Excellence to me in this program means that we are professional in every aspect of our lives, the personal side of it as well as the academic side.
Giving all you got, spending multiple hours studying, taking advantage of all the opportunities that are given to you.
We are pushed to our limits to do our very best. We do things independently and we work as a group as well. It's taught me how to work with other people, and it's taught me how to push myself to my own limits as well as other people helping me get to my goals.
Penobscot County is hiring right out of this program. We've had troopers come out of this program. I want to meet everybody I can and also become the best law enforcement officer I can be.
All of the experiences and opportunities that have been provided to me and all the knowledge that comes with it as well.
Taking everything I've learned and translating it into be the most successful police officer I can be.
I also hope to take away all of the personal growth that I've gotten to experience through this program. I'm not the same person that I was on day one, and I'm really proud of that.
We were in criminal investigations.
The class was about explosives. We had a fire marshal named Brian that came in and talked to us.
The class was generally about explosives and all the different types of explosives and how they work and what that kind of looks like here in Maine. What are the common explosives that are used in Maine, and what are the common things that are homemade versus like on a bigger scale.
The biggest takeaway for me was the 4 types of explosions, and that was the chemical, mechanical, electrical, and nuclear.
I have 2 things that are probably biggest takeaways is how simple, everyday objects can be made into bombs.
I think my biggest takeaway was how the arson charge in Maine is 1 Class A, which is really important. And it not only covers fire, but it also covers all explosives, which unlike some other states who have the 2 charges separate for explosives and fire.
Just to recognize the explosives and know what can be dangerous when you're in the field of law enforcement.
And when there's a call about an explosion or that there's what's perceived to be bombs, that the drastic measures that law enforcement and the investigators have to take in order to be as safe as possible.
We were in psychopathology for first responders. In that class, we had our first of 2 scenario days where we get to apply what we've learned.
And it was basically where we had mental health professionals come in and reenact a situation that they've been in prior to, and we had to de-escalate the situation.
This is helpful to give us live practice on some calls that we very well could get as law enforcement officers.
It's helpful for us as future law enforcement officers to understand common characteristics of people going through mental illness.
I think this is helpful to us as students because hopefully within the next year we're going to be in law enforcement and we're going to be dealing with this on a daily basis out in the field.
I think it's really helpful because we get to take everything that we've learned and apply it directly to things that actually might happen as law enforcement officers or social workers or, working with people with mental health disorders. Going into the final for report writing and testifying, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm overall optimistic.
I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited to see where I'm at and that's out of law enforcement.
I'm gonna be going into it open-minded. I'm gonna be reviewing my report, making the edits I have to.
I'm actually pretty excited for it because this report that I did, I thought I did very well on, and I'm about to see whether that's true or not.
I think it's going to be really helpful for me wanting to go into law to see how the process works and see how the attorneys interact with us on the stand and how our responses will kind of guide what they ask us. So I'm excited.
I think it went exactly how I thought. Nerve-wracking, stressful, but once I got done it, I felt good about it.
It went pretty good. It was a great learning experience for me and my classmates. Definitely took some public speaking lessons from it.
Brought the real world into the classroom and gave us the exposure needed for the field.
I think it went really well. I think there's definitely things that I took from it that I can do better next time. I thought the process of watching defense and prosecution question in different ways was really interesting, and it's a really good way for me to get a feel for like what court would look like as a lawyer. Chelsea Lenz is a prosecutor at the District Attorney's Office here in Penobscot County, and she's one of my personal mentors. I had her as a criminal law professor, and I really enjoyed her class.
My name is Chelsea Lenz. I am the Deputy District Attorney at the DA's office. I started teaching in 2020, I think was my first class of my own. I graduated law school in 2018 and started guest lecturing, but I think I got my first class in 2020. I really enjoy talking to people that are in their beginning of their academic career because I mean, college totally changed the direction of my life, so it's just something I really enjoy. In college, I really didn't know what I wanted to be or do. You know, I wasn't sure. I was in the criminal justice track, and I knew I didn't want to be a police officer, and Professor Plawani actually placed me in an internship here at the District Attorney's Office. I immediately was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to go to law school, I want to be a prosecutor, and I didn't even know something like that was a possibility. Like, I had never, ever considered law school as an option. I didn't even know how a person even went to law school. So I just think internships are so important. I'm always encouraging people to do internships, and especially at the DA's office.
I applied for an internship at the District Attorney's Office in the beginning of my third semester, and I did not end up getting it, as I ended up getting a job instead. That ended up happening because I had my interview for the internship, and a few days later a job opening for a clerical assistant opened up, and they asked me if I would like to apply to it. So I applied for it and had a second interview, and the interview went really well, and they offered me a job.
I was definitely stressed out even before night one. I had thoughts playing through my mind of how I was going to go.
I was definitely nervous. There's no way to really prepare for that kind of night.
My thoughts leading up to the first night was unbelievably stressful. I didn't know quite what to expect here because I've heard a lot of rumors of how hard they are on you and all the stuff that we had to study ahead of time. It just seemed like a lot all at once.
It started off with us coming into the lobby. At first we tried to come in 5 minutes early, and they said, "What time is it?" And we said, 5:55. We had to be there for 6, and they told us, like, that's not 6 o'clock yet, so get out of here. So we make our way to the classroom, and we go over a couple things. I was tasked with being class leader at first, and we were tasked with changing into our PT gear.
A lot of PT, there was a lot of stuff going on, and everybody was watching us, and it
was very chaotic.
there was so much going on all at once.
He asked me if 3 minutes is a long time, and I said, yes, sir. And we had to do 3 minutes of wall sits. That was brutal.
The hardest part of the night for me probably was doing the PT with everybody because we all had to do it at the same time, and we all had to do everything within a timed manner. and I found that pretty challenging as a group to be able to do that, but it was a good challenge.
The end of the night, we talked to all the cadres. We had really meaningful conversations with them over what they did during the night or what we did, what we could fix when we actually go to the real police academy.
SPA Night 1 compared to the Corrections Academy Day 1, quite similarly. They both consisted of people yelling at us. They both consisted of a lot of PT. There was a lot of timed changing in both.
The most rewarding part was making it through to the ends and not quitting.
Everything that we did, I'm going to be able to use in the future, such as the studying that we did beforehand. Though we didn't use it quite in that class, we're going to be using it in the field or maybe in future classes.
Understanding when you're stressed out is very important. And not only in law enforcement, but in any job. I mean, stress comes with any job. It comes with school. It comes with friendships sometimes. Stress is very meaningful. And when we have an opportunity to really capitalize on being stressed out, learning how our thought process is during the time of us being stressed out, it's really going to help us going forward in the field of law enforcement.
When I first started at EMCC, I was really interested in law enforcement. I had been very interested in law enforcement for a couple years after being at the United Technology Center. Career plans kind of changed end of second semester. At EMCC, I had always been really interested in the law aspect of law enforcement, and I had always thought potentially about being a lawyer, but I never really let myself go there because it's just, it feels so out of reach, going to law school and having big goals like that.
For being a lawyer, first of all, you can do it. I just remember when I first started thinking that I wanted to be a lawyer, I was like, I didn't even want to say it because I just felt like this is not possible. Like I was embarrassed to even say I wanted to be a lawyer because it was so far-fetched of an idea. So the first thing I would want to say is it is 100% possible. I say all the time, becoming an attorney is an endurance test. 100% are you willing to take the steps that you need to take to go to law school? And if you are, you can become a lawyer, plain and simple. It is attainable for everyone. And you will have support at Eastern Maine to pursue that path if that's what you want. And there are a lot of other paths that you can take in this profession other than just being a police officer or a lawyer. And it's important to explore those. Just keep your options open is what I would say. Gracie is very bright. She was my student in criminal law and in report writing and testifying. And right when I met Gracie, I really thought she was a candidate for law school. I mean, she's very smart, she's affable, she's definitely got the ability and personality to be a great lawyer. And I had told her that after a presentation that she did at Bangor Police Department. And she was like not really interested in law school at that time, but thankfully she changed her mind. And she's such a hard worker. Once she decided she was gonna go to law school, she really has taken the steps to make that possible for her. And I'm just so proud of her. She's great.
The goal felt a lot more attainable to me once I had talked with Chelsea, and she kind of mentored me through what that process would look like of going to law school and then looking at what the career might look like. It made me really excited, and it kind of started a passion for it that I never really knew I had. My next steps after EMCC are to attend a bachelor's program to finish my degree in criminal justice or justice studies, and then to attend University of Maine Law after that.
It's been going well. Since night one, we've done OUI week, active threat.
And on Thursday, we get to train to meet the requirements needed for the MCJA.
We usually have Staff Sergeant Barrio as our lead instructor, and he'll invite other instructors in as well. They will typically teach us a portion of the class, and then we'll be able to use practicals to do hands-on learning as well.
I'm Cameron Barrio, and I'm a staff sergeant for the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office, and that means I'm one of the supervisors for the patrol division. I am the Student Police Academy adjunct instructor, and prior to that, I was the police operations instructor. I guess the biggest thing I have to focus on with this group of students that I have is making sure, one, they're physically ready for the job, that they prepare themselves for this job if they want to get into the academy at the Maine Criminal Justice Academy. The other thing I hope they factor in when we get through this is the practicality behind what we teach, and that obviously that treating people more fairly out on the streets will get them much further than hostility.
I learned that there's a lot of tunnel vision. There's a lot of things that you just don't notice. There's a lot of sounds that you don't hear. I noticed that everything is kind of clustered together, so you really have to focus in those situations.
It is very high stress, and every decision you make can be life or death.
Come to Eastern Maine Community College with my first piece of advice. It's a very hands-on practical course. If you follow your instructor's directions here at this program, I can assure you that we have many resources and many points of contact that we can get you into this profession. So as long as they follow the advice of their instructors, they stay focused on the goal, I can guarantee they'll get a job after this.
I came to Eastern Maine Community College looking to move to a different area and get a different outlook on life. I've grown a lot since being here.
I'm very proud of this program. I developed and learned a lot as a person here.
In the last 2 years, I think I've gotten a lot of hands-on based learning. I noticed that as I'm doing phase 1 and phase 2 of the police academy, I've touched on a lot of the subjects that I'm actually having to test on now to actually get into the field. So I think that the last 2 years have benefited me in that way, as well as I've had a ton of networking. So I've gotten to meet all kinds of law enforcement officers to help guide me and help me through this process.
It feels so exciting. I'm so glad to be here. It's taken so much time and dedication and hard work, but I'm here and I'm excited.
I'm really excited to be graduating. I felt like 2 years went by really fast.
Amazing. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of hours. I'm glad I made it.
It's awesome. It's been a long journey, and I'm excited to be at the end.
Associate Applied Science, Criminal Justice, Georgiana Grace Baker. Ashley Erica Goodwin. Joseph Thomas Gregson. Dylan J. Hahn.
This Wednesday, actually, I took my state police oral board and I passed. So hopefully I will eventually go into the academy representing the state police.
Looking to be starting with East Millinocket PD in August.
Next, I'm going to start at UMA in the fall for Justice Studies and finish my bachelor's there.
I just got hired on at Penobscot County Sheriff's Office as a part-time patrol deputy, so I'll be working part-time until they can hire me on full-time when I turn 20 and I can go to the academy.
Everybody who I've met in my time in the program have helped me out a huge amount. I don't think I could be standing here today without them.
The connections I've made here are gonna last me a lifetime, and I've cherished everything I've learned in this program.
This program has become such a family to me. It's going to be really sad moving on without them, but I know that I will cross paths with all of them since the criminal justice field is such a big family in itself.
My final thoughts on the time in the program are just such gratitude. I have so much love and so much support from this family here that I've made, and I'm just so excited to see what everybody's going to do.